So you're going to Dogecoin. All right, let's talk and break this down a little bit. I just was over there at Ryan's in the Indelible HQ here in Houston, Texas, having the freaking time of my life last night, and just went real deep on this philosophical nature with what's happening on chain and this technology intersecting with artificial intelligence. And it's just absolutely mind blowing. For Babbage, dude, I love Babbage, dude. I absolutely love those guys, man. And I went up to hackathon and up there in Oregon, and Ben, and they hosted me there and came down to San Francisco, and dude, they're just amazing guys, dude. So at the end of the day, going to Dogecoin and changes nothing for me, and it changes nothing going forward other than peace, love, and prosperity, and hopefully we can attract more people. But ultimately, because the bottom line, what people may be kind of missing, and Ryan and I were really going deep on this last night, was that, see, when this back in the story, like 2014, when Calvin and Craig kind of first met up in Ontario, in Vancouver area. And then they met up with McGregor, and McGregor had the first patents, and then McGregor flew down with Matthews over there to Australia and Sydney and saw what Craig had. And he said, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you have this." And the intellectual property he'd already kind of started developing, and the intellectual property fortress began to combine. And so it was the combination between the Titan and the genius, and that intersection, because you had all these other people, Matthews and McGregor and Jimmy Wynn and these other brilliant people come in, but it was ultimately the Titan of blockchain, Calvin Ayre, and the mad scientist, Craig Wright, that came together and unified, because Craig needed to work. He needed a place to build these inventions out, but he also needed the backing to literally invent them. Now, this is important because at the end of the day, in the big picture, okay, this whole space is patented. It's all, the whole blockchain space is already patented. And I'm sorry, there's a few small patents out there with some great inventors that have done things like Reggie Middleton that are heroes, But at the end of the day, as a person in the legal field, I've looked at the patents, and that's what really brought me to this space, is once I saw the intellectual property over the entire industry and how it was covered, I said, oh my gosh, I don't want to get sued by these people. I'm going to just, I'll be just supporting the original Bitcoin blockchain. And so, at the end of the day, Conor Murray was on the show today. Everybody should check it out on Proof of Claim podcast. And he went deep down the rabbit hole about like what's happened in Congress with the Clarity Act and his meetings. Now, inside of he didn't mention this, but I think that inside of the Bitcoin Reserve Act, it's a different law outside the Clarity Act. In there is where you can really see Conor Murray's work shine, and Alexander Mann, because it's right inside of there. He didn't mention this, and he may not be aware of it. Hopefully he gets a look at this video, because when he sees what they did in the Bitcoin Reserve Act, now it's just proposed legislation. It's still just in Congress, but it could get to the Senate. And if it does, see, the key is they're going to be holding all Bitcoins. And not only are they holding all Bitcoins, but they're also in the legislation, they acknowledge that in 5 years, they may be selling off whatever Bitcoins are of lesser value, and whichever one isn't a market cap. However, they're going to leave room for the one that has the most utility. And that's just a true sign of a hats off sign to Conor Murray and Alexander Mann, right in the legislative intent. So they're clearly aware of the different Bitcoins. So, but yeah, back to Dogecoin and Babbage. Hey, watch this space. SPV, all right. Nobody had ever built. They heard of SPV, right? SPV and all that, SV node, but nobody had ever built what's called SV node. They've heard of, but no one ever built the SPV nodes and operated them. Well, they're operating now. SPV nodes. They're these. So, and I'm ultimately connecting to them. And so the problem that it's solving is giving the artificial intelligence perfect memory and knowing who I am and my conversations, and not only knowing them, but putting them on chain and keeping them private and secure, because I don't want all my conversations just going off to Claude indefinitely or for whatever amount of time and then disappearing. That's just been happening on stop in my stuff. I mean, I watch it all the time. People they just delete it. I have some important things I need, the threads, and I don't back up every thread, but now I do. That's what this technology does. So it logs the threads that I want, and I can have the memory in it, and it gets to know me for where I'm going with things, and it stops the frustrations of the endless starting over, on a bot. And I think that people completely, Babbage missed that, because he did the overlays and the BRC 100s. Oh my gosh, by the way, that's what we're utilizing is BRC 100. Everybody hasn't already checked it out. Check out Yours Wallet. They've completely launched. Shout out to David Case. I forgot to mention him on the last video. He deserves a lot of credit on that. And I had shows with him on X, a bunch of them. He really helped Wags out. But at the end of the day, that people should check it out. And that's all BRC 100 compliant, meaning that it's on the standard wallet protocol. So praise, love, thanks, and shout out and hand clasp across the miles to the team at Babbage. And we'll miss those guys if they're going to be serious about going over to the Dogecoin. But at the end of the day, it changes nothing for me. Okay, changes nothing, because this space is going to explode. It's just a whole nother level. We're doing it legal. We're doing it right. We're doing it long-term. Yeah, it takes longer. It's slower. I'm sorry. You don't get rich quick, but the overall, the data layer is a whole different layer than speculating on tokens, and actually doing it legal and compliant, working with Congress, building in working with the regulators to make it right. Yeah, it's a long-term thing, and there's woo-woo involved, and we got the movie thing coming out. So, I mean, ultimately, dude, there's a lot of, I like how Conor Murray talked about being the eternal optimist, and Conor Murray should be, I'm naming him, he should be the new Bitcoin Jesus, now that the original Bitcoin Jesus is gone. I mean, he's not around anymore. So we got to really, have Conor Murray, come out and be that guy, because he's the one that really started this, and he's the steward of the protocol. I mean, he's kind of the Gavin Andreessen of the protocol. I mean, he may correct me on that, but that's what my opinion. I mean, he's a steward, dude. He helped set up that network access rules and the digital asset recovery, and that's what those regulators wanted to hear, and that's really what that video was a big takeaway. So I'm out of here. I'm going to go actually meet George from the Bitcoin Association here in Houston, Caddy, Texas, right now. I'll see if I can do a little chat with him and say what's up. All right, and that's it. So Dogecoin, best regards. We'll talk about it more. Other than it don't affect none of us at all. Doesn't change one bit, other than blessings, kind regards. Thank you for the BRC 100 protocol, and let's freaking do this, man. See you at the top. All right, I'm done. Later.